They had no metal blades, no machines, no written language, and yet, they survived where modern humans would collapse in weeks. Imagine being stripped of every tool you depend on. No electricity, no steel, no medicine, no clock telling you when the day ends. Just forest, stone, bone, and the fragile knowledge carried inside human memory. Most people believe survival without modern tools is impossible. But one tribe didn't just survive, they mastered it. For generations, this tribe lived in an environment that punished mistakes instantly. One wrong decision meant hunger. One misjudged season meant death. There were no backups, no rescue, no second chances. And yet, children were raised strong, elders lived long lives, and the community endured without ever inventing what we now call progress. Here's the unsettling part. Their survival wasn't based on strength alone. It wasn't luck, and it wasn't primitive guessing. It was a system, a method refined over centuries, so precise that it quietly outperformed modern survival training. By the end of the story, you'll understand how they built tools without tools, how they stayed fed without farming machines, and how their greatest weapon wasn't fire or stone, but something modern humans are rapidly losing. But there's one detail most people miss. A rule they followed so strictly that breaking it was considered worse than death. A rule that explains why this tribe endured while others vanished into history. And once you hear it, you might start questioning whether modern technology has made us safer or weaker. Because what kept this tribe alive wasn't innovation. It was restraint. Stay with me, because the way they live challenges everything we think we know about survival. This tribe did not see nature as an enemy to be conquered. They saw it as a system to be read. Every sound, every plant, every shift in the wind carried information. Survival began not with action, but with observation. From childhood, knowledge wasn't taught, it was absorbed. There were no lessons, no commands. Children learned by watching adults fail, adapt, and try again. Mistakes were allowed, but never repeated. Memory was the archive. Elders were the libraries. Without modern tools, every object had to serve multiple purposes. A stone wasn't just a cutting edge. It was a hammer, a signal, a measuring device. Wood wasn't just shelter, it was fuel, weapon, and protection. Nothing was wasted because waste attracted danger. Food wasn't hunted recklessly. This tribe understood cycles. They knew when animals would return, when plants would regenerate, and when taking more meant starvation later. Survival wasn't about taking everything possible. It was about taking only what was needed. One detail stands out. The tribe avoided shortcuts. Any method that weakened skill was rejected. If a technique made survival easier but reduced awareness, it was abandoned. Convenience was considered a threat. And this is where modern humans would struggle. We optimized for speed. They optimized for continuity. But the environment was changing. Seasons became unpredictable. Resources shifted. And the tribe faced a moment where their ancient system would be tested harder than ever before. A choice had to be made. Adapt and risk losing their identity, or hold fast and risk extinction. That decision would define their future. The real threat wasn't hunger. It was uncertainty. The seasons no longer followed familiar patterns. Rain came late. Game migrated differently. Plants matured out of sequence. For a tribe that relied on prediction, this disruption was dangerous. Some younger members argued for change. Faster hunting methods, more aggressive gathering, riskier strategies. They believed survival meant pushing harder, taking more, acting faster. The elders disagreed. They believed panic was the true enemy. Acting without understanding broke the system. And once the system collapsed, survival would turn into chaos. This created tension inside the tribe. For the first time, experience and impatience collided. The choice was stark. Either abandon restraint and gamble, or trust knowledge that had never failed before. Then something unexpected happened. A hunting party returned empty-handed. Not once, not twice, several times. Food supplies tightened. The younger members pressed harder. Voices rose. Doubt crept in. And then the elders revealed something they had never spoken aloud. They had anticipated this shift years earlier. They had quietly prepared alternate methods, slower, harder, but resilient. Techniques passed only through demonstration, never words. Methods that worked when patterns broke. The tribe hadn't failed to adapt. They had adapted silently. This revelation changed everything. The tribe's survival wasn't based on reacting faster. It was based on preparing earlier. Their systems allowed change without panic. Each method had a backup. Each skill had depth. Every individual knew not just how to do something, but why it worked. Adaptation came with cost. The new methods required more patience, more effort, less certainty, but they preserved awareness, and awareness kept them alive. This is what modern survival manuals often miss. Tools don't save people. Understanding does. The tribe accepted hardship without rushing to eliminate it. Struggle sharpened attention. Comfort dulled it. And so discomfort was not avoided, it was respected. Children grew up watching adults fail safely. Mistakes were allowed under guidance. Nothing was hidden. Knowledge stayed alive because it was shared constantly. Over time, the crisis passed. The tribe remained. Others nearby vanished. And the reason wasn't strength, speed, or technology. It was discipline. The discipline to wait. The discipline to observe. The discipline to not overreach. And that discipline became their greatest tool. Here's the twist. This tribe didn't survive despite lacking modern tools. They survived because of it. Without shortcuts, they were forced to understand their world deeply. Without machines, they developed patience. Without excess, they learned balance. Modern humans often ask whether we could survive without technology. But that's the wrong question. The real question is whether we still possess the discipline to live within limits. Because this tribe's greatest strength wasn't fire or stone. It was restraint, knowing when not to act, knowing when enough was enough. Their survival wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, and that's why it worked. So ask yourself this. If everything you rely on disappeared tomorrow, would you know what truly matters? Or have we forgotten skills no tool can replace? Comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more stories from tribal times.